6, you can have 10. Depends on the patient sickness and the critical cases. 3 ECG electrodes, you will have the basic ECG monitoring, only the basic ECG monitoring. 5 and above, this will be advanced, and you can have 12 lead analysis from 5 electrodes only. Okay. Then we have the non-invasive blood pressure. So we have 8 different cup sizes. You choose any cup size proper to the patient category, either age or weight, male or female. So we have a lot of sizes. Make sure that the cup size is covering and properly matching the patient category. Okay. So that's it. And the connections, it's very simple. It's a color-coded, shaped, different. So you cannot, by mistake, connect this one here because the shape is only accepting this. It's not compatible, in the shape. So this is almost 8 inches touch screen. You only have one button for on and off. You turn it on. I recommend to keep it on all the time. If you don't have patient, make it on standby. So very simple. You just press on. So you just press on the keys, you will have monitor standby. So if you don't have patient, so just make it like this.
What's the reason behind it?
The reason behind it, I have seen many hospitals, from my experience, this button is harban and it's not working anymore. Because they keep on, off, like 3, 4, 5 times a day. After 1 year, this will be not working. Because you have only one button. The whole equipment, you have only one button. So just keep it plugged with the AC power all the time. Go to standby if you don't have patient, or even if the patient is outside doing procedure. Whenever the patient comes back, you just touch on the screen, it will be on. If you don't have, just touch again, put it on standby. Very simple. Okay. So let me ask you this: where you do the admission? From where you do the admission for the patients? From the central station or from the monitor? From central station. Okay. So you can do it in both, huh? Either from the monitor, the bedside monitor, the X100, or you can do it from central station. It can be in both. So very simply, this is, we call it info bar. So this is the information for the machine and for the patient. So you can admit patient from here. You enter the last name. And the first name. Then the MRN.
Sarah, can I go? Huh?
No, nothing urgent.
So when you enter like the last name, the first name, and the MRN for the patient, you will see patient on top here. You will see the patient's first name and last name. Okay? Then we have the monitor number or the room number. Then we have the time for the equipment. What is the mode? Now we are on demo mode, like for demonstration. This flag means if there is any system messages or notifications, this will be the system or the center messages. If you have like any notifications, either technical or clinical, it will be on this. Then we have the Wi-Fi strength, so you can check your status of Wi-Fi and network. So you can access your functions from the side. So you can activate, deactivate any one of these parameters. Last thing, we have the battery, so you can press on the battery. You can check how much time left in the battery and what is the percentage for the battery. Now I am selecting overlapping screen. So with the overlapping screen, you will see everything, even the waveforms for invasive pressures and invasive pressures, the heart rate and ECGs. But if you do want this crowded page, you can always change screen and you can go with the 3 waves, for example. This will be more organized and you will see only 3 waves and the others will be only parameters. So the first one is the heart rate. So heart rate is very simple, high limit, low limit, you always can change. One very important thing, and this is for you, Ayman, make sure that no one is touching this, which is ECG arrhythmia alarms, on or off. Now what happens when you make it off? even if the patient goes with the lethal arrhythmia, not only arrhythmia, like patient is having asystole or VVIP or VTAC, the monitor will not allow. Even in the central station, because you're making it off. So
even in the central
even in the
station.
central station,
Okay.
it will not allow.
Oh.
The only reason we have this on off for specific type of patients, which are in the palliative care or DNR, you make it on. or
But
off.
still we need to own.
But for 99% of patients, always make it on. Default is on. So don't turn it off, even if you have like too much artifacts and false starts. Then we have the paced mode, so the pacemaker off, on if the patient is having pacemaker or is not having pacemaker. Then the primary lead, secondary lead, QRS volume, beep, beep sound. So this sometimes can be annoying, especially if the patient is awake or sleeping at night.
നിങ്ങൾക്കുള്ളയോ?
So you can make the QRS volume, so instead of like this, so this will be a little bit disturbing to patient. So you just press on the QRS volume and you make it 0. Okay? So you monitor the patient from central. Patient at night can sleep without this beep, beep sound.
And the patient like the sound, don't worry.
They like the sound?
No.
They
Especially the
sleep with
family.
the sound. huh?
Especially the family.
Worried if there
Just
is
like,
no
you know,
sound, it's off.
the Saudi traditional ACs.
Yeah, they're asking
كيف
about شغل
تركيبية؟
ولا ما.
طيب. So last thing we have in the ECG is the filter. So filter, you will have 4 different filters. These filters will enhance the performance of the ECG. So you will have better ECG without artifacts. So if you press on the filter, you will have these 4 filters. You can choose any one of these filters. The last 2 are advanced. And from these 2 advanced filters, you can filter out the artifacts and you will have better ECG readings. You will have less alarms with the ECG. So you can choose diagnostic, extended monitor, okay? And this is supposed to be enhancing, the performance of the ECG. So any question with the heart rate?
And you like it, I know you like it.
Right. On the waveform, so when you press on the waveform, you can freeze the waveform, so it will be freezed. If you noticed anything like inverted QRS, missing P wave, widened QRS, whatever, you can freeze it and show it to the doctor. When you press there, you have a cursor, you can go backward and forward. You can unfreeze to get it back to normal.
How to freeze it?
So you just press on the waveform, any waveform, not only this. So you press on the waveform, the first option you will have freeze waveform. So you press freeze, it will be freezed. So it will be freezed. And when you show it to the doctor or consultant or whomever, if you want to unfreeze, again, you press again here and you will see the unfreeze wave.
That one can be printed or no?
It can be printed,
The one
but
that we freeze.
no, the waveform can be printed, but you need to have either the strip printer connected here usually with the central station, but you cannot have a strip printer here. So you can have continuous recording of strip.
This one, the freeze, it's shown also on the central monitor.
No.
Whatever you do it inside, you can see it here. No.
Like it's mirroring.
So freeze,
No.
no, this is only in this monitor, but you can freeze there. You can review.
No, I mean it's not appearing.
No, it doesn't appear. So they are a little bit separate, two separate.
We can
monitors.
freeze here in the monitor here.
Type SPO2.
Okay.
for
No, no.
this. Question?
no,
Yes, with the other monitor we cannot freeze that one.
You cannot freeze? Yeah, but
That
that one, okay. Why you cannot freeze that one and why you can freeze this one? You cannot freeze that one because you have 7 days, you can go back anytime.
Yeah.
So let's say something happened before 2 minutes. So you can go with the waveform before 2 minutes and you can see it.
Yes, yes.
But this one you cannot check back the waveform. That's why we have a freeze here and we can have it there.
Oh, okay.
So that one is, big server, can save data for 7 days. This one is only current. It will show only the current waveforms and current parameters. SPO2. So with the SPO2, one very important thing, we call it SQI. You see this small diode over
Ah.
here. So this is signal quality indicator. So this bar should be always full. If the bar is not full, that means that the sensor
this-
for the SpO2 is not with a good quality, and you might need to change the sensor. So always make it full to get accurate and more reliable SpO2 and oxygen. With the respiratory rate, it's the same. So when you touch on the respiratory rate, you can go with a high limit, low limit. Apnea time, you can increase or decrease apnea time up to 60 seconds. Then we have, so let me ask you this. From where we measure respiratory rate in the monitor? How do we measure? How does the monitor measure respiratory rate?
From the pulse oximeter probe.
Not from us.
Respected. There is one lead.
Hmm?
There is
From the
I think from the
from the
ECG.
leads.
From the ECG leads.
Ah.
So you will have two ECG electrodes on the patient chest,
Ah.
and this distance we call it impedance. When the patient inhales, the impedance will be increasing, and this will be counted as well.
Ah.
So there's no need.
It's not amazing. This is very old technology, and the thing with this technology, if you have a COPD patient with a shallow breathing, you might have apnea alarm, and this is very common. Usually, the
I see.
nurses call me and they said, "I have apnea alarm, but I can see my patient is breathing, but I'm having apnea alarm. So how come, you know?" So this is usually happens because of, you know, the detection from the electrodes is not very high, and the patient is having shallow breathing with a COPD. So how you can fix this one? See this, when you press on the respiratory rate, you go down, we have something called detection. So instead of O2, you make it manual. So what happens when you make it manual? You will have this line. So this we call a threshold line. Okay. So you can manual up. So I can increase this line up. See the line, now the line is above the patient breaths. Now it will give me up, because these breaths are not detected by the line. Okay? Now you will see apnea. Okay? Why? Because the line is above the patient breaths. So what do you do with the, if you have a COPD patient or shallow breathing patient? You press here, you change the detection to manual, then you bring the manual, see this manual, this dash line, you bring it down until you match all breaths. Okay? So now the line is matching all breaths. So now you will have more accurate respiratory rate. So respiratory rate is very important in the wards, and the first indicator of patient deterioration. The first indicator of patient deterioration is respiratory rate.
Again, how to do it? To the bar.
So you just press on the respiratory rate, you change
Manual.
detection to manual. When you change it to manual, you will have manual up, manual down. So this is the manual. You see this dashed line? So you bring it down, until you meet all patient breaths, even if they have shallow breathing. Temperature. So if you're choosing or if you are using skin temperature, you go to the label, and so we have all kinds of temperature. So rectal, core, skin, esophageal, nasopharyngeal, arterial, ventricle. So skin is the most common, so you choose T skin for the temperature if you are using skin temperature.
Of course, لأنه rectal impossible يعني with this kind.
No, it's not impossible. You will have another cable.
Another cable.
Yeah. So
for the rectal.
Yeah, rectal we have another cable. With
والله
the,
one of the doctor he will like this one والله.
no, we have all kind of. So
Recorded?
he didn't say any name. So
But they know.
he's
They
safe.
know.
Maybe he doesn't know. The doctor. He doesn't know.
لا no.
He knows bad.
From Canada. he knows.
Okay. So when you have like the source or the cable for the temperature, always choose either skin or esophageal or blood or whatever. Non-invasive blood pressure. So this is also very important. So when you press on non-invasive, you can set the systolic, dystolic, up and down, and we have like 3 different modes. We have manual, we have auto, we have sequence. Manual means what?
According to when I want it. Huh?
So again,
Oh, according to when I want to do it.
This
yeah.
one.
So you can do it anytime. You just come and do and start
Proceed.
non-invasive. O2 means what? You will have a repeat time.
Set the time and it will repeat.
Yeah,
automatically.
so you will have a repeat time and you can make it like every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, every 1 hour. It will be repeated every 1 hour or every 15 minutes. Now, what is sequence?
It's gradually going up, the frequency.
Close. So this is sequence non-invasive blood pressure setup. So this is for patients with protocol. So if the patient is having blood transfusion, what is the protocol for blood transfusion?
15, 30,
So the first
1
hour every 15 minutes, or you do it every 15 minutes 4 times, then you do it 2 times every 30 minutes, then you do it every 1 hour. So if you have any patient with a kind of protocol, you choose sequence. And when you choose sequence, you have setup sequence, so phase A, B, C, D. So in each phase, you'll have how many times and for how long. So phase A, let's say 4 times every 15 minutes. So this is the first. It's not it's a hybrid. So it's between the manual and the O2 modes.
This is for all the perimeter or only for the CVP?
Only for the MPP, for the non-invasive. Oh, okay. Okay. So you can choose in phase A how many times and for how long. Phase B, let's say
Also
4 times,
patient.
2 times, and make it every 30 minutes. Then phase C, I want to have it continuous every 1 hour. Okay. So now the monitor will automatically get, follow the protocol, and it will get
For
you
him.
non-invasive
One for us,
on
one for
time, even if you're not around. Okay. So so acknowledge alarm. So this is to acknowledge all alarms. If you have a long press over here, you can pause the alarms for 2 minutes, and when you pause alarms, you will have this flashing line, red light will be flashing, and you will have a countdown time. That means you will not hear any alarm for this period of time, and you can unlock anytime, or you can deactivate anytime. Screens, so keys over here.